Hi, everybody, to another episode of Sprinkle Happiness. I have a really special guest today with me. Her name is Jen Allen from Arizona. She is working with families. She's helped hundreds of individuals out of substance abuse. So let's welcome Jen Allen. She's here to help give value to families so they can help strengthen their relationship with their kids and their families. Jan, hi. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, Nev. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for all your work you do on happiness too. I really love your podcasts. They're so good.
Hey, thank you. The motto is to sprinkle happiness into everybody's lives. But as parents, we are happy when our family dynamic is in harmony, is in balance. So we all struggle sometimes, with our kids in our relationships. And I want to share with our listeners, what are the healthiest way to deal with challenges? What can we do to strengthen our relationship? So let's scratch the surface and start with what is the number one mistake families do and what can they do differently?
So the biggest mistake they can do is to stint authenticity in other people and not take care of their own needs is another one too. Family, like the leadership team, whatever that looks like, if it's a single parent or if it's a team with each other, when they're not getting their needs met, it gets spilled out all over the family. So they might do one of two things, right? Like there's like a spectrum of ways we can have bad behavior, but it's very simple. It's like you're underdoing something or you're overdoing it, and both ways are unhealthy. So if you are not getting your needs met, then you're going to take everybody's growth trophies and you're going to interject yourself too much and you're going to stint them. And the other side is you're going to be too restrictive. You're not going to engage. But either way, it has to do with there needing to be like a balance. So you want to let people in your family not have like a thriving community at home, then people have to have rules, they have to have standards, but there's got to be a ton of feeling of freedom. It's not how good I have been as a parent because I sure make a lot of mistakes all the time there. I have
Oh, we
three.
all do.
Yeah,
We
we all
all do.
do. Yes, and I have three boys, and the when I became a much better parent, it came from owning a rehab, which was just like a small house, and we would take individuals that came in that wanted to be there, who were drug addicted, just came out of the hospital because of like suicide. They just had an attempt. And we had to turn them into a functional family immediately for their sake. I had to have staff and they had to be trained in a certain way immediately. It doesn't matter what staff they are, they had to get trained so that we could make it work like a household. So your staff is like your mom or your dad.
Mhm.
And then the clients in the building are brothers and sisters, and we all have to get along. So being able to do that with no matter who comes in the building over until they graduate or move on, that's the skill. So you'd want to create these environments where the staff knew how to not staff split. So they'd be on the same page. That they don't enable, that's a big problem. But their needs are met before they walk in the door, just like how parents have to be. You got to have your needs met before you walk in the door. But then the clients themselves, in order for them to be at their best, I called it low state building. So that means we don't have a ton of rules, to be honest. They were just very specific rules. And once people knew exactly what the rules are, they can thrive. Authenticity is the key. When you are yourself, like when you could be in a group with other people and you could bear your soul and you feel so safe doing that, this is the
Yeah.
highest level of health. When you care about people to a point where you don't want them to go off and they're not going to make it, they're going to pass away, they're going to drink themselves to death, they're going to have self destructive behaviors, you'd better earn every minute of that. It's life or death. So I feel the same way when I'm at home, to be honest, too, where like what behaviors am I doing that stints other people being themselves around me, because that's what I'm doing wrong. And if I'm not getting my needs met, I'm going to either like enable, helicopter, like overdo it for them, and because my needs aren't being met, or I'm going to be too restrictive. I have nothing to give and I don't engage at
Yes.
all. So it's like, what do you think about that?
Yes. I think the balance is the key here. And as parents, we really need to be very careful, giving them enough space and freedom, but also give them boundaries. And they still need a parent, right? They still need a bit discipline and structure. So like not overdoing one, but really the harmony, the balance is really key. What do you recommend, Jen, parents can do to help them balance the family dynamic so they can be themselves, but also have the freedom to express and be themselves.
Little, very few rules. And then you give them things to help them to thrive. So have on your calendar, like I'm a single parent, so I have to do it. And so I'll have things on there to make them feel good about themselves that involve earning muscle. So cooking at night, my kids cook. They're really good at doing that. They've been cooking since they were like 9. And then I learned how to step back as soon as I can and completely give them the freedom. But then I also have a list that says, this is your freedoms list. So my 14-year-old, we had a sit down meeting, just the way I did with our clients and the way the therapists were trained to do with our clients. And it would say, this is your freedom list now. Like, I do not involve myself at 14. I do not involve myself in his bedtime. It's on a list. It's written down on paper. And it says, I will never involve myself. I switch.
Really? You don't tell them, now it's time to go to bed? Just everybody get ready for bed? You don't do that?
If I say that, which it's not like I never say it, because we've had a meeting and agreed on it, it's because he can say, no, mom, I want to stay up later, and I will never fight him about it. So I might say, like, hey, you should go to bed, but it's not my job anymore. I've decided, I give it to him. It's your job. We did Keith Cunningham. And he says at some point, his mom said, these are your teeth. I'm giving them to
Yes.
you.
Yes,
You
I
brush.
remember that.
Yes. She gave him freedom. This is what your family wants, is they want freedoms. So when you're in like a spouse and wife or a husband wife relationship, you don't feel like you're yourself. That whole thing going back to authenticity, it's because you're stinting each other. Like, you're probably you got to get rid of those behaviors where your compulsions because your needs aren't being met are stinting another person, or you have shut down. Those are like the two versions of it. Socialize yourself with like the normal way to act and you'll be fine. So we do that to each other all the time. So if I'm going in there parroting my 14-year-old all the time about you need to go to bed, then he's craving freedom and I'm going to get resistance back.
Yes.
My next move is when we're going to have a meeting coming up soon, and it's going to say on your freedoms list, you get to choose your friends. I will never again believe my role is the judge of his friends. Take my role off as the parent. I've immediately become like a side by side kind of relationship with him. So at the building, you get clients and you got to know how to read them. So this one is abstract and this one is concrete. So when I'm talking to someone who's abstract, because they're far out of their trauma, I use metaphors. I can ask about empathy. I can say what you did to that other person made them feel blank. But if they're concrete, it's just do this or else. You break that rule, this will happen, because I got to figure it out. So when they have their plans, everybody's goal is the same. They want to be able to be themselves. They want freedoms. So they'll have a plan. It'll say like, I'm giving you the trash. Okay. I'm giving you the trash and that's yours. From now on, I'm never interfering with you doing the trash. But if they don't take out the trash, then the way you would scold them would be like, if you don't take out the trash, you don't get to use your phone, because they're a concrete person. So you got to know like how you're doing it, but you want to immediately start giving people that feeling that they've got freedoms coming. So you would earn your cell phone in my building. You would earn your freedoms. And if you don't earn that, then you have nothing to fight for. People are simple. We want freedom and we want to be able to be ourselves.
Yes, we hate being told what to do. But even little kids, no matter what age, we hate being told what to do. Yes, I'm all for it. But I love giving him freedom. But what if they don't meet their responsibilities? Like, we want our kids to be on the right track.
Yes.
And we can literally create hell in our families when we
We're too
really, yes.
Yeah, right.
What can we do?
So a couple of things, right? So like there's times that if you have a team, when my kids aren't doing what they need to do, sometimes you bring a new energy in. I don't have a partner. So I will call in an outside partner. So in the building, we'd do that. So you'd have like people would have room checks. It's a really uncomfortable time. You're going to have to be confrontational. These are places we have rules. There's not a freedoms thing. You just have to do whatever your rules are to keep your room clean. The time that you would implement that would be when someone else is there. So they'd be when there's two staff on, and they'd go together. And so you bring like that united front and you try to avoid the conflict because people won't give it to two. So if you're parents and you've got two parents, then that's the time that when you have to push something that's like hard, you want to do it as a team. If you know there's going to be a big fight, it doesn't start. There's no fight. So sometimes when I have to push my kids, we're learning something new. I know Adrian is going to fight me. One of my kids is going to fight me because he's little and he hates cooking and he's not quite ready for that all the way yet. Then I'll bring another person over. I have neighbors that I call and I be like, hey, I'm doing this thing with my kid. They know I'm crazy already. So they come over and then I don't have to, they don't fight you. If you have a strong group, then they'll fight you for hard things. And you try not to do the hard stuff when it's not right for you because it'll come out wrong. When your needs are not being met, it's not the time for you to bark and bite because you're going to screw it up. When you get tired as a parent or as a staff, you get breaks when you're in the building. You get breaks. You come in fresh. But when you're tired as a parent and your needs aren't being met, then you're going to caregive. We have behavioral health techs and we had caregivers. A behavioral health tech has a standard and you'll reach it. I don't hire caregivers in the building. If I interview you and I see that you're a caregiver, you're going to take everybody's growth trophy and you're going to enable them and they're going to get stinted. But the same way as a human and as a mom, like there's times I just jump in and caregive. It's easier to caregive than it is to train them to do something. So I have to understand there's got to be like, I have to use that time when I'm trying to get them to grow in a certain way when I'm refreshed. I just don't add it to my plate otherwise because I will take over for them. And taking over for other people is the worst thing you can do for them. You're literally
Mhm.
taking their growth trophy. You're hurting them. And
Yes.
in substance abuse and rehab, you literally could kill them because they get entitled, they get enabled, they're expecting other people to do something for them, but you got
Yes.
to care about
Never do anything what they can do on their own.
never. Yes.
Plus, you're spending your time that you actually need for yourself, for your own needs, for your own priorities, and for things that really matter. And I totally agree with you. The more we do for our kids, we actually take away for them to train their muscle to be independent, right? They need to.
Yeah, you phrased it. One of your kids is a doctor. I bet you've got
He's a candidate. Yes, he's in med school. And you know, he was just an amazing, amazing, easy child. But whenever I tried to enforce rules, it hurt my relationship more than it helped. I feel that tension every time with family members. And people are never going to meet your expectations the way you want it. People are never going to do and say the things that you wanted. You just have to be grateful and accept who they are. That's one of the key lessons I got from my happiness studies in Tony Robbins. Exchange your expectations with appreciation, and your whole life will change. So, everybody is unique, everybody is different. So, it really doesn't make sense to enforce our worldview onto others. You have to do the things I want, you have to say the things I want, and then I'll be happy. No, I'm happy regardless, and I accept you the way you are. That is the number one lesson I have learned the past 3 years. It made me a happier person. Trust me. Just being grateful for this life experience. Everything, you see everything not as like an annoyance. Yes, there will be annoyances, but you see more miracles. You're so sensitive in noticing little things around you, like, oh my gosh, thank you, God, for another day on this earth. I am breathing. I am accepting. I'm letting go of control. I think when you say letting go of rules, it's to me, it's the same thing. Let go of control and you'll be a happier person.
I love that.
And
Can I offer something for that too?
yes,
I was with the girlfriend last night. We were having some wine, and she's a director, and she overdoes things for her new staff. So I was asked her like, "Do you want my thoughts on it?" 'Cause I work on this too. When I'm have an overgiving compulsion, or I've seen and helped people treat overgiving compulsion, they have to memorize that sensation. It does feel like a certain thing. So right before I'm about to step in there and take my kid's growth trophy, or take over my staff's growth trophy, there's a certain way that that control feeling goes inside me that I have to be very acutely aware of. What you study is so beautiful because you studied the details of like highlighting and emphasizing in your life all of the best things that make you happy. And I also have a place for where things like, oh, that's that vibe. When I feel like I need to control something, I feel a specific tension in my body. And I know that I would do anything to make someone do what I want them to do. And that is a vibe. If when I know that I've got that vibe going on, then I can like be like, oh, call it out as it is. Oh, I'm feeling the need to control. I'll go in and do something that they need to do better than them, or I'll take over for my staff. This is no good.
So when you say overgiving compulsion, do you mean people pleasing?
Sometimes, or being controlling. Like what you're saying is like spot on. It's like you have the need to control. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's all control. But like,
Mhm.
what does that feel like inside your body when you're feeling the need to control?
Oh, much. Gosh, it's tension. It's tension when it's like you cannot control your environment and you so want certainty. You want things to be exactly the way you expect it to be. It like creates a lot of tension. And that's really not our nature. Our nature is like be on the flow, just love people the way they are.
I think that that's a key to it is it's our stuff. When we feel that drive in us to control, like, yeah, we absolutely have to set the standards. Sometimes you have to push everybody and you don't be nice about it because it has to happen to get everybody out the door on time or get, like someone's paperwork has to go in, their meds have to be passed. It just has to be this way. But that feeling, if it goes on in other areas, especially in your personal life, when you know that that's what's going on, that it's your stuff, then you have to call it out inside yourself and be like, oh, there's my feeling of a need to control because it's going to cause problems. So there's the overgiving compulsion. There's the compulsion to be right on making another person wrong. There's an entitlement that goes into people that it's all goes down to a basis of like you have a need to control. So then
Yes,
you once you call
that's
it
the ego.
ego,
That's the ego that wants to be right and wants to be superior. And very beautifully said.
get into what we do, like especially people that manage a lot, like you get chemical release when you do the same things again and again, and you'll get rewarded, and you won't get the reward starting point waiting for the incident to occur because your chemistry is needing to be rewarded. It doesn't matter to your chemistry if it's right or wrong. So you do that with compulsion. So if you're taking over for other people, then you've done it 5 times, 5 times a week, 5 days a week, then when you get home, you're probably going to do it again. So you just need to call it as it is. If you're an overjudger, if you're an entitled person and you get into the thinking that you need someone to take care of you right now, the people, I hate to say it, but like codependency really, really, really has this happen a lot. And you've relied on another person and gotten somebody else to do something for you like 3 times a day, then you're going to do it again. You're going to go up to somebody and you're going to expect something from them because your chemistry is waiting to be rewarded. So you just acknowledge that's your stuff. That's not about the environment. You aren't mistreated. That person in front of you doesn't not do what they need to do. That car in front of you wasn't cutting you off. It was that you got this chemistry inside you that's practicing that need for expression.
Mhm.
But like you saying, it's like all ego, it's all control, but it comes out in different ways. And some of them can be totally detrimental, really hurt everybody around you. And again, it stints them from being authentic. And what you want is to go home and have your heart flourish with like healthy, wise neurons that are always feeling connected to other people and the people
Yes.
around you feeling like they can be themselves too, because that's like a functioning, healthy team. So when I hire staff that are going to take care of the clients, they're not going to be caregivers because they overdo it, and they're not going to be people that have the compulsion to judge other people, because it's great they can hold boundaries, but if you can't turn that off, then you're going to undo everybody's work. We've got everybody in the building and they're all doing their stuff and they're happy doing it, and we know they're thriving because when they're in groups they're talking. Like, wow, how do you get a total stranger to come in the building and another total stranger to come in the building, and all of a sudden they're free. They feel so good. They want to be there. They never want to, like, they don't want to leave, but they're thriving. But they also have duties and they're doing the duties, and you do it again and again and again and again. And it comes from a mix of forcing your staff to understand that you can't overgive and you can't be too judgy, and that you have your own compulsions. And if I catch you with your compulsions, I'm going to call you out on it. And if I have my own, I have to call myself out on it because my needs clearly weren't being met before I walked in the door that day, because I'm bleeding them out all over other people. But when I'm doing it to my family, it's really dangerous. I love when I'm in a functional team. It's the best, where everybody's growing, learning, getting better, where everybody's playing as an A player. They don't feel forced. They want to be there. They know what their role is and they're contributing. Where my kids
Mhm.
can't wait to like jump up and do what they've got to do, like go do their chores, because they're going to be thanked for it because they know they're
Yeah.
contributing to the family. Older son, he's like a fantastic cook. He loves it now because he was given the space properly to like want to
You give
thrive.
them the freedom.
Freedom.
Give them the freedom
Yes.
to express and
Yeah.
be in their own flow. Maybe
Yes.
they don't take the trash out the second you ask them to, or they're supposed to. Maybe they do it an hour later or in the morning.
Yes.
It's all good. And another thing I really, really find is the secret to a healthy relationship. I wish we would do it even more and families would do it even more is to apologize. To apologize for your own shortcomings. I'm sorry, honey. I kind of lost my temper here. Or I'm sorry I was not at my best. Sometimes we project something that happened at work, we bring it home and let it out on our kids. Like, it's okay. They learn from it. That is the biggest lesson you can give your kids is to let the ego down. You don't have to be right all the time and just apologize. That is so healing. That is just instantly gonna improve your relationship right there. I'm sorry, honey. I didn't grow up saying sorry. I I learned it years later. And then it's not a sign of weakness. It's the opposite. It's a sign of you being strong, that you don't have to be perfect or portray yourself as the perfect parent or employer. We are so imperfect human beings. We grow and we learn. And another thing I find really helpful, Jen, I don't know if you do it in your therapy sessions, is alter casting. Alter casting is a term where you tell your kids the strength you want them to have. Like, thank you for being so generous. Thank you for being so tidy when they're actually not. Like, maybe one day they were. And it's just highlighting their strength is so much more beneficial than keep highlighting their weaknesses. I keep highlighting it. It's just going to fire the dopamine like crazy in their brain and they're going to do more of it. Thank you for being so giving. Thank you for, that was so kind of you. They will do more of that. You want your child to do more of that one thing you want them to have. Don't tell them that they don't have it. Tell them you have it. Thanks for, I see, even if it's so tiny, notice it, acknowledge it. It's going to feel amazing and they'll do more of that.
That's great.
Anything else you would do?
No, I love that about you and your work is that that's the brain automatically goes to negative, but you, because your happiness studies and the way you think, it's like that. It's like, what's that key thing to emphasize to get to be healthy and better and grateful and all of those things. And so you have this life that you've lived that you see the best all the time and you see the good
Yes.
and how to get other people to the good. I just think that's just incredible.
Yes, but it's not just me, Jen. There's science behind it. There is proof behind it. I'm all about positive psychology. I love proving methods. I love when there's research out there that has proven certain techniques and strategies that it's working. So it's the appreciative inquiry. Like, what worked great in the past? What did you learn from it? Always like find what already works great and bring it to the present and use it as a skill to plan a better future. So the strength-based approach is like amazing. It's so much better and more effective than focusing on the problem. Just focusing on the problem is going to make you even more miserable. Plus, it's not giving you the skill to deal with it. So focus on your strength, what worked great, and just run with it. I love using proven methods, research-based methods. That's why I'm here. I love listening, love connecting with people like you, Jen, that has helped hundreds of families find balance and harmony because we want happier kids, we want happier families, and a lot of them out there is really, really struggling. And thank you for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom. I really look forward to chatting more about this in the future. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, everybody, for another episode of Sprinkle Happiness. And I see you next week on a brand new episode.